There are moments in life when we meet something we cannot change. It may be the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or a health problem that will not go away. These experiences often feel heavy, as if we are carrying a stone inside our chest. We try to push the stone away, but it stays. The harder we push, the heavier it becomes. This weight is not only in the situation itself. Much of the burden comes from our own struggle against it. We want life to follow our plan. We want answers that make sense. When life does not agree, we feel frustration, sadness, or anger. We may even feel that something has gone terribly wrong. But in truth, life is simply showing us that not everything is in our control. To notice this is already the beginning of acceptance. Acceptance does not mean that we like what has happened. It does not mean we give up all hope or stop caring. It means we see reality as it is, without adding extra resistance. If we stand in the rain, no matter how much we complain, the rain continues to fall. But if we take a step to simply feel the drops, we see that the rain itself is not our enemy. In the same way, when we stop fighting what cannot be changed, we discover a lighter way to carry our grief, our pain, or our disappointment. The stone may still be there, but it no longer crushes us. It becomes part of our human story, something we walk with rather than against. And slowly, the weight begins to feel less heavy. One of the greatest challenges we face is the belief that we can control more than we truly can. From a young age, many of us are taught to plan, to work hard, and to expect results that match our effort. This can be helpful when it comes to study, career, or daily responsibilities. But when we extend this belief to every part of life, we meet deep disappointment. No matter how carefully we plan, accidents still happen. No matter how well we take care of our bodies, illness may still come. No matter how much we love someone, they may still choose to walk a different path. These are not signs of weakness or failure. They are signs that life is larger than any one person's control. When we realize this, something begins to shift inside. At first, it may feel frightening, because it means we are not fully in charge. Yet at the same time, this truth brings a kind of relief. We do not need to carry the impossible task of controlling everything. Our role is not to be the master of every event, but to respond with honesty and dignity to what comes our way. Recognizing limits does not make us powerless. It makes us wiser. It helps us see where our energy can be used well and where it will only be wasted. Instead of fighting battles that cannot be won, we learn to place our strength where it matters. In this way, we live more peacefully, not because life is easy, but because we no longer demand that it bend to our will. Many people live with the quiet belief that if they work hard enough, think carefully enough, or pray strongly enough, they can make life go exactly as they wish. This belief can give comfort for a time, because it creates the feeling of safety. We imagine that with enough effort we can avoid loss, avoid pain, and avoid the unexpected. But sooner or later, life shows us this is only an illusion. We see this when someone we care about makes choices we would not choose. We see it when nature acts with storms, earthquakes, or even just the passing of time. We see it when our own bodies age, no matter how much we try to stop it. In these moments, the idea of absolute power over life begins to crumble. And when it crumbles, we may feel afraid, helpless, or angry. But losing this illusion is not only painful, it is also freeing. If we truly had control over every part of life, imagine the pressure we would feel. Every mistake would be our fault. Every tragedy would be a sign of personal failure. No one could carry such a burden. By seeing that we do not have absolute power, we let go of this impossible responsibility. What remains is a softer truth. We do have influence. We can make choices. We can act with kindness. We can do our best. But the final shape of life is not fully ours to design. When we accept this, we live with less fear. We discover that strength does not come from controlling all things, but from walking with courage even when control is not possible. When pain enters our life, our first reaction is often to resist it. We tell ourselves that it should not be there. We try to hide from it or push it away. We may even fight against it with anger, as if anger could erase what has already happened. But this resistance does not make the pain smaller. In truth, it makes the pain grow larger, because we are adding struggle on top of suffering. Imagine holding a rope in a contest of strength. On the other side is pain itself, pulling with all its weight. The harder we pull, the more the rope burns our hands. But if we let go of the rope, the struggle ends. The pain may still exist, but the endless pulling and burning stop. In the same way, when we stop resisting, we stop feeding the pain with our own energy. This does not mean that we should pretend the pain does not exist. To face pain without resistance is to admit that it is there, to allow ourselves to feel it, and to stop fighting reality. When we do this, we often find that the pain begins to change. It may soften, or it may simply become easier to carry. Life will always bring moments of loss, sadness, and disappointment. We cannot prevent them all, but by meeting them without resistance, we save ourselves from doubling our suffering. We no longer exhaust ourselves with the question, "Why me?" Instead, we stand quietly and allow the truth of the moment to be what it is. In this quiet, a new kind of strength begins to rise. When life brings us a situation we cannot change, we may feel as if we are holding our breath. The body tightens, the chest feels heavy, and the mind becomes restless. In this state, even small difficulties feel overwhelming. It is as if we are drowning inside our own resistance. To breathe again is to allow reality to touch us as it truly is, without covering it with fear or denial. Breathing with reality means slowing down enough to notice what is present. Instead of saying, "This should not be happening," we simply admit, "This is happening." That small change of words opens space in the heart. It does not solve the problem or take away the pain, but it gives us the ability to stand in the middle of it without collapsing. Think of the ocean. A wave rises and falls, but the sea itself remains wide and steady. Our thoughts and emotions may rise and fall in the same way, but if we breathe with reality, we can stay connected to that deeper steadiness within us. The storm passes, the wave breaks, and still the sea remains. This way of breathing is not escape. It is not ignoring what is difficult. It is choosing to stay present in the middle of truth. With each breath, we say silently to ourselves, "I am here, and this moment is enough." Over time, this simple practice helps us discover that we can live with reality, even when it is hard. Life does not need to be resisted. It can be lived, one breath at a time. Acceptance is often misunderstood as weakness. Some people think that if we accept something painful, we are giving up, or that we no longer care. But acceptance is not about surrendering our dignity. It is about finding the courage to live with reality as it is, rather than exhausting ourselves by demanding that it be different. True acceptance does not make us passive. It allows us to act from a place of calm instead of fear. Imagine carrying a heavy basket on your back. If you keep denying its weight, you stumble and fall. But when you recognize it and adjust your steps, you can walk steadily. The basket may not become lighter, but your way of carrying it changes everything. This quiet strength cannot be forced. It grows slowly, like the roots of a tree spreading under the soil. From the outside, it may seem invisible, but when storms come, it is the roots that keep the tree standing. In the same way, acceptance becomes an inner root that holds us firm when life shakes us. With acceptance, We no longer waste energy on endless what-ifs and if-onlys. We do not need to rewrite the past or control the future. We live more fully in the moment we have. The pain may still be there, but it is no longer our enemy. It is part of the human journey, shared by all who walk this earth. This quiet strength gives us the ability to face life's changes with calm eyes and a steady heart. It shows us that even when we cannot change the outer situation, we can still find peace within. Life moves like a river. Sometimes the current is gentle, and sometimes it rushes with great force. We may wish to freeze the water at a calm point, to keep the river exactly as it is. But no matter how much we wish, the water continues to flow. This is the nature of life. Nothing remains unchanged, not even the most beautiful or painful moments. When we forget this, we suffer. We hold on tightly to happiness, fearing it will leave us, and we resist sadness, fearing it will stay forever. Yet both joy and sorrow are part of the same current. They pass through our lives like waves on the river's surface. To fight against this flow is to exhaust ourselves. To understand it is to find harmony with it. This does not mean that we should stop caring about what happens. It means we stop expecting life to be fixed in one shape. Seasons change, bodies age, relationships evolve, and even the earth itself is in motion. To live is to move with these rhythms, not against them. When we see life in this way, we realize that loss and change are not punishments. They are simply part of the river's path. The water that leaves makes space for new water to arrive. In the same way, each ending opens space for something new, even if we cannot yet see it. By understanding the flow of life, we learn to place ourselves gently in its current. We no longer demand that the river stop for us. Instead, we allow it to carry us forward, trusting that its movement is the natural way of all things. There are times when we cling tightly to what we cannot keep. We may hold on to an image of the past, wishing life could return to how it once was. We may grasp at relationships, even when they have already changed beyond our control. We may try to preserve our youth, our health, or our possessions as if they were permanent. In each of these struggles, the act of holding on brings more pain than the loss itself. Imagine clutching a rope while being pulled along the ground. The harder you hold on, the more your hands are cut and bruised. If you release the rope, the pulling ends. The injury comes not from the rope itself, but from the tightness of your grip. In life, our attachments can work in the same way. The situation may be difficult, but it is our refusal to let go that deepens the suffering. This does not mean that love, memory, or care are wrong. They are natural and beautiful parts of being human. The problem comes when we demand that they never change, that they stay exactly as we desire. When we place this demand on life, disappointment is certain, because change will arrive whether we welcome it or not. By loosening our grip, we allow space for healing. We honor what has passed without trying to trap it. We respect what is present without demanding that it last forever. Letting go is not forgetting or rejecting. It is simply choosing to stop hurting ourselves by resisting the truth. And in this choice, we discover a gentler way of living with change. When life feels overwhelming, our mind often runs into the past or races toward the future. We replay old conversations, wondering what we could have done differently. We imagine endless scenarios of what might come, each one filled with fear or hope. In this constant movement, the present moment is forgotten, and with it, the chance to find calm. The present moment is simple. It is just this breath, this sound, this feeling right now, but because it is simple, it is easy to overlook. We may think peace lies somewhere in the past, when times felt better, or somewhere in the future, when problems might be solved. Yet peace is always available only here, in the now. When we bring our attention back to the present, even for a short while, something shifts inside us. The storm of thought slows down. The weight of regret and worry becomes lighter. We see that this moment, though imperfect, is still complete. It may hold sadness, but it also holds air to breathe, ground to stand on, and the steady beat of a heart that keeps us alive. Finding calm in the present moment does not mean ignoring our problems. It means we stop adding the extra burden of carrying yesterday and tomorrow at the same time. We take life in smaller, gentler steps, one moment at a time. In doing so, we discover that even in the middle of difficulty, a quiet space of calm is always within reach. There is a softness in simply allowing life to be as it is. Many of us are taught to fight, to control, and to fix. These skills can be useful in certain areas of life, but when we face the unchangeable, the constant fight only leaves us tired. Allowing things to be is not about laziness or carelessness. It is about meeting reality with gentleness instead of struggle. When we allow, we give up the endless question, why is this happening? That question rarely brings comfort. It pulls us deeper into confusion and pain. Allowing does not search for explanations that may never come. Instead, it accepts that sometimes life unfolds in ways that our minds cannot fully understand. Think of a cloudy sky. If we fight against the clouds, shouting for the sun to return, we only exhaust ourselves. But if we sit quietly, we see that the clouds move on their own. The sun was never gone. It was simply hidden for a time. Life's difficulties can be like this. They come and go in their own rhythm. By allowing them to exist without constant resistance, we find the patience to wait for change. The gentle path does not take away the pain of loss or the sting of disappointment, but it helps us walk with them in a softer way. It reminds us that we do not always need to push, pull, or demand. Sometimes the most powerful step is to stop fighting and let life breathe on its own. In this softness, we discover a quiet peace that was waiting for us all along. Human beings often live as if we are the center of everything. We make plans, build cities, and dream of shaping the world exactly to our design. Yet life continually reminds us that we are small in comparison to the vast forces around us. The turning of the seasons, the aging of the body, the passing of generations, all of these happen without our permission. To live with humility is to recognize this truth. It is to bow, not in defeat, but in respect to the mystery of life that is greater than our own will. Humility does not take away our worth. It places us in the right relationship with reality. Instead of demanding that the universe obey us, we learn to walk gently within it. This humility brings relief. We no longer feel the crushing need to control every outcome. We no longer carry the impossible responsibility of making life fair or predictable. We learn to offer our effort sincerely and then accept that the final result may be beyond us. Think of a farmer who plants seeds. The farmer works hard, prepares the soil, and tends the field. But the rain, the sun, and the growth itself are not in his hands. He does what he can, and then he bows to what is greater. In the same way, our lives require both effort and humility. By living this way, we find more peace in our hearts. We no longer fight endlessly against what cannot be controlled. Instead, we take our place within the larger flow of life, grateful for the part we are given to play. When we meet something that cannot be changed, our first instinct is often to close ourselves. We shut the door of the heart because we believe that by closing it, we can protect ourselves from pain. Yet a closed heart does not remove suffering. It only traps it inside. The pain stays with us, hidden but unhealed, growing heavier with time. Opening the heart is not easy. It asks us to stand in front of what hurts and say, "I see you, and I will not run." This does not mean that we welcome pain as a friend, or that we celebrate loss. It means that we allow the reality to be felt, instead of pushing it away. When the heart opens, even a little, the pain has room to breathe. And in that space, healing begins. Think of a cracked pot that allows light to shine through. Our wounds, though painful, can also be places where light enters. When we open ourselves to what cannot be altered, we discover new depths of patience, understanding, and gentleness. What once felt like pure suffering begins to reveal hidden lessons about the human experience. To open the heart is to live with courage. It is to choose connection over avoidance, honesty over denial. The situation may remain unchanged, but our relationship with it becomes softer, kinder, and less heavy. Over time, we see that the heart was never broken by opening. It was strengthened by its willingness to stay alive in the face of truth. The word surrender often carries a negative sound, as if it means defeat or weakness. But in the journey of life, surrender is not about losing. It is about laying down the impossible task of controlling what cannot be controlled. It is the moment when we stop struggling against the unchangeable and allow ourselves to rest in the truth of things as they are. Surrender does not mean that we stop caring. It does not mean that we give up all responsibility. It means that we release the constant tension inside us, the belief that if we only push harder, life will obey. In surrender, we accept that our efforts have limits, and we allow the larger flow of life to move through us, instead of against us. This surrender brings freedom. Imagine carrying a heavy stone everywhere you go. Your back aches, your steps slow, and joy becomes impossible. Then one day, you set the stone down. The ground holds it for you. Nothing outside has changed, but inside, everything feels lighter. This is the freedom of surrender. The weight of resistance is gone, and in its place comes peace. Through surrender, we learn that control is not the same as strength. True strength is the ability to live openly in a world that does not always follow our desires. It is the courage to meet reality as it is, without fear. When we surrender in this way, we do not fall into weakness, we rise into freedom. Life will always bring us moments that cannot be changed. Some of them arrive gently, like the quiet passing of time. Others arrive suddenly, shaking the ground beneath us. At first, we may resist, we may hold on, or we may search for answers that never come. Yet as we walk through these experiences, we slowly learn that peace is found not in changing life, but in changing the way we meet it. To accept what we cannot change is not to give up, nor is it to stop caring. It is to open our hearts to the truth of life as it is, to walk with humility, and to allow the flow of existence to move around and within us. This acceptance is not a final destination. It is a practice, renewed each day, in each breath, in each step. Sometimes it feels easy, other times difficult, but always it is possible. As we come to the end of these reflections, I wish that you carry with you a gentle strength. May you walk more lightly with the burdens that once felt too heavy. May you discover freedom in surrender, calm in the present moment, and peace in allowing life to be as it is. Before we close, I would like to express my deep gratitude to you. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Thank you for your kind support through likes, subscriptions, thoughtful comments, super thanks, and membership. Your presence and your generosity give life to this work, and I hold it with sincere appreciation.